Hello, Brobs. Back with more books. It's not a very exciting haul from today, but still 13 more books. My all-time least favorite, Stephen King, Wizard and Glass, The Dark Tower, Part 4. Don't care what it's about. Bought it because it's a swap of 50 cents for about a $4 or $5 book that I will sell if I can find the other ones. Ditto with this Dance Macabre. Stephen King's Dance Macabre. Spellbinding. Does have a little bit of water or moisture exposure. Other than that, the hell was this? I was a teenage Frankenstein. But for the pimple, there was no cure. And here comes I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, this film. Yeah, I don't give a shit less about this guy. I hadn't realized that when looking at this book, this little Dover thrift edition, which what they sell for $1. I always like these little covers. The covers on these small little tomes. I knew it wasn't worth much, but it was only 50 cents. So, and I didn't realize how thin the unabridged book of The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was. I mean, the writing's tremendously small, but I've never read the book. Obviously, I know the premise, but I've never actually read the book. Maybe one day I will. Most classics are not classic to me. They're just, I guess for their time, but I don't know, most classics are very disappointing. Fear and Trembling and the Sickness Unto Death. Soren Kierkegaard. Translated with an introduction and notes by Walter Lowry. Never read this one. The only book by Kierkegaard I've ever read was, what is it? The one in the 11th hour. Purity of Heart is the Will One Thing. It's the only one I've read. I have no idea what this one's about, actually. I guess I could look at the back. There's nothing on the back cover. It's about nothing. The forms of the sickness. I assume it means spiritual sickness. I did read the biography of Kierkegaard, him and his, he didn't get married to her, his fiance, I can't remember her name, but that was rather good. But his books, I haven't gone beyond Purity of Heart. Under Coogan's Bluff, a fan's recollections of the New York Giants under Terry and Ott, which were two players, by Fred Stein, forward by Ken Smith. Truth is, I was only going to get 12 books, but I needed 13 to con the system of not rounding up. But she didn't ask me today, even though it was $6.89 for 13 books, and I would have had to round up 11 cents, but I saw this book, saw that it was signed and that it does have some value, $10, $15 range, and plus it's signed, so I could probably list it for 20 since I have next to no interest in the New York Giants or the San Francisco Giants, but it's in pretty good shape. Signed. Not necessarily a rare book, but a scarce enough one that it has value. First printing, April 1979, and signed. So maybe I can turn it. I believe I have a copy of American Psycho already. Not that I'm ever going to read it. Would have liked to find a first edition hardcover, but you take what you can get. I might even be able to flip it to thrift books. Any book that I can flip for $2 to thrift books, which isn't worth 10, because I figure if I'm selling a $10 book, they cost basically $5 to ship now. If you could just sell it for $2 to thrift books, I'll do it. This one's in great shape, so if it's worth anything, I will sell it to thrift books. Only if they offer me $2. I will never sell them a book for 72 cents, or what's the lowest I've seen? I think the lowest I've seen is like 47 cents. I'm like, no, I'm not selling it to you, Bubba. But if there's a book that's $10, worth $10 on eBay, which is basically $5 plus 5 shipping, and I can sell it to them for $3 and not have to go through the process of listing and shipping, I will accept it. Especially when I bought it for 50 cents, like I did this one. American Chillers. Another copy. I'm slowly collecting these. Not that I have interest in them, but for the sake of possibly getting every paperback there is and then selling them as a set. Or who knows how much a set even goes for, but yeah. What's that one? South Carolina Sea Creatures. He's moved on from, well, not on from Michigan, but he's based in Michigan, and he's already written ones about cities in Michigan, so apparently he moved on to other states. Time Remaining Stories by James McCourt, and as I've stated before, I'll always buy a hardcover book that has a Mylar jacket that I can swap to another book. I will accept the 50 cents cost just to get that. I mean, they're only about $1 a piece, but if I bought 50 of these from Amazon for $1, I'd rather pay $25 for a used one that's in great shape and not give Amazon anything. But that's just me. So yeah, this book is not worth much. A couple bucks, so I will just donate it back. Or even maybe thrift books will buy it. That'd be great. Guide to the Fairy Ring, which is crazy because I was just reading about the fairy ring that I found in my yard last year. I don't know if the fairy ring, it seems to be about a game or something. I thought it was just about fairy rings, but I'm in the cards of the fairy ring. Oh, okay, well, I didn't know there were cards of the fairy ring. Guide to the Fairy Ring. Inside this book, you'll find beautiful fairies and misshapen ogres, helpful sprites and mischievous tricksters. Those who are wise in the ways of the wee folk know that not all fairies are cute little creatures with dainty wings who flit from flower to flower. Consider leprechauns, the crafty cobblers who guard the elusive gold at the end of the rainbow. Or the beguiling will-o'-the-wisp. Shut up. Allen Park, Images of America. Sharon Broglen for the Allen Park Historical Museum. Allen Park is a city south of Detroit in Down River. It's kind of considered a lesser of the suburbs, but it's actually not that bad. My uncle was a police officer there, and he died there too. Rather young. Maybe he's in here. Maybe he's in there. $20 book for 50 cents. Barry Goldwater. Goldwater by Barry M. Goldwater with Jack Casserly. Barry Goldwater was one of the few presidential candidates whom I would have voted for if I don't think I was old enough when he last ran. Not that he would have won back then, but I believe I have a campaign pin from his run that My father actually voted for him. Revolt on the right. Yeah, Goldwater seems to have gotten a bad rap, and I guess there was the commercials about the atomic bombs that he would drop them if he became president, and it scared morons. As we're moving closer to the atomic bomb in the Russia scenario, Snuff by Chuck Palanhniuk. As you can see, I also picked up Rant, but this one, and I wasn't sure if it was authentic when I saw it, but I found other copies from the book tour, the Snuff book tour of 2008. I'm not sure who Cassie Wright Productions is, but this appears in several signed copies, so I assume that was the group that, I don't know what it means. Maybe it's part of the book. I have no clue what it is. I don't really know Palanhniuk. I have a handful of his books. I'm not sure what that book tour means. I assume he went on a book tour, but who knows? I don't know anything besides his Fight Club. I know many of his books, but I've never read them. It's not my sort of read. But it's signed. And this seems to be, yeah, that's definite signature. So, unfortunately, I believe it had a risque dust jacket on it with a nude lady or scantily clad lady, and thus it's been discarded by the thrift store, I assume. Or maybe it was discarded by the actual owner. But as I see that there's two jackets missing on two books, and I don't know what Rant's jacket looked like. Oh, this one's signed too, motherfucker. Well, there you go. I don't know what the souvenir of the Middleton Tooth Museum is either, but maybe that's part of the lore. I did not see the signed copy. Thought there was a third book there, but I couldn't find it after I saw it. So hopefully these were the only two signed copies I missed, and also I hope I can find two more copies that aren't signed with jackets that I can fucking swap these for. And then I'll have two signed first editions. I assume this is the first as well. Regular edition. This is the signed limited edition. So the dumb fuck, whoever got rid of the jackets, really botched these. I assume these had risque jackets, but they're missing, so whatever. This one also has a little bit of water damage. Like I said, I did not see this other signature, but there you go. Two Palanhniuks. Unfortunately, they have no jackets, but I will take two signed books. Don't give a fuck about those jackets. I mean, for 50 cents. At worst, they're worth 10, 15 bucks. So there we go. Goodbye. That's all. Goodbye.